Hello, Rama Pupodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a relaxed and peaceful life. Now let's go to chapter 27, Kasaragod, Swargashram. Ramdas beholds Rama and Sita. When Ramdas arrived at Kasaragod, he came to know that Ramabai's marriage was to be performed in a week's time. Anand Rao, who was extremely kind to Ramdas in every way, had undertaken to have the celebration at his house. Ramdas stopped for the time being in the small room of his office. The preparations of the marriage went on. On the appointed day, the house and the pandal were quite full of visitors. Ramdas was, all through the performance, an unconcerned witness of the wedding ceremony. He utilized his time in playing with the children. Once, when the bride and bridegroom were seated in the decorated mandapam, Ramdas was questioned as to who they were, and he made the ready reply. Ramdas beholds Rama and Sita in the pair. The outstanding feature of the ceremony was feeding of the poor at the close of it. Nearly 300 to 400 people were provided with a sumptuous feast. Days later, Ramdas left Kasaragod for Mangalore, where he spent few days. Here again he met Mark Sanjeev Rao, with whom he had read some religious books at his rooms in Balmata. Sanjeev Rao also introduced Ramdas to a couple of Christian missionaries. He took a great interest in presenting Ramdas to the Christian world. Krishna Rao, father of M. Bhavani Shankar Rao, who was then in Mangalore, came to Ramdas and proposed to escort him to Bangalore. They travelled by motor bus via Merkara. One evening they found themselves in the hilly tract. There was a drizzle. Ramdas was made to sit in the motor agent's tiny office. Where to spend the night? The question was sorely troubling Krishna Rao, as he wished to find for Ramdas proper accommodation for the night. But God had provided against every contingency. When dusk was approaching, a man whom Ramdas had never seen before, coming to him, fell at his feet and said, "Swamiji, it will give me no small delight if you will be pleased to grace my house. I had been so keenly longing to have your darshan, and God has granted me this blessed opportunity. Please, pray, do come with me." Ramdas agreeing, the friend took him to his storied house. His family members were away, and he was alone with a servant. He made Ramdas sit on a deerskin asan and introduced him as thus: "Swamiji, my name is Madhav Kamath. I have read your book, In Quest of God, and have seen your picture in it. From the likeness you bear to the photograph I saw in the book, I could recognize you at once. Ever since I pursued this book, I was intensely desiring to see you. God heard my prayer and has sent you here for my sake." As he spoke, his throat grew husky with emotion, and from his large eyes poured a stream of tears. He embraced Ramdas repeatedly in a state of ecstasy. He asked Ramdas to place his hand on his head, which Ramdas did, and Madhav Kamath rolled on the floor in a trance-like condition. Both went on talking till late in the night. He showered torrents of love and kindness on Ramdas. God, in his own inscrutable ways, looks after Ramdas with all tenderness and care. Next day, Ramdas started with Krishna Rao. At Bangalore, Ramdas was welcomed by Bhavani Shankar Rao, Sita Bai, and others of his household with great joy. Ramdas spent a few days here. Bhavani Shankar Rao, who was also eager to attend the Kumbh Mela, accompanied him. In due time, they reached Bombay and were received at the station by Sanjeev Rao, who escorted them to his house. Sanjeev Rao and his wife were as overflowing with love as ever. Ramdas stayed with them for about 3 days, and then, with Bhavani Shankar Rao, he journeyed towards Jhansi. In Jhansi, they resided in the same Ram Mandir which he had occupied on the previous occasions. All the old friends crowded in the Monday to see Ramdas. Ramkinkar found great happiness in serving the guests. Ramdas also met Ramcharandas, who was awaiting his arrival in Jhansi. The one prominent feature of his stay in Jhansi on this occasion was that he ate food from the same plate with friends drawn from different castes. Even Brahmins joined them in the promiscuous dinner. Ramkinkar, a Brahman by caste, at first mildly resented the onslaught of the age-long custom, but in the end yielded on account of high esteem and love for him. After a short stay in Jhansi, Ramdas with Bhavani Shankar Rao and Ramcharan Das departed for Haridwar. Haridwar is at the foot of Himalayas, a noted place of pilgrimage for Hindus. Here, once in 12 years, a mammoth gathering is held to commemorate the occasion of the Devas drinking the nectar procured from the churning of the ocean. The festival is called Kumbh Mela. The party stopped at Haridwar for an hour or thereabout and then directed their steps upwards towards Rishikesh, which lay at a distance of about 14 miles from Haridwar. They travelled on foot. In the evening, they reached the banks of Ganges in Rishikesh. Crossing the river, where it was shallow, they came upon a vast sand bed which Ramdas selected as the most suitable place for the night halt. It was at the edge of a range of majestic heaven-kissing mountains. As night approached, cold winds swept over the sand bed on which they had camped. There was a fallen tree close by. A fire was lit by setting fire to a dry branch of this tree. The wind developed into a gale, which blew furiously, carrying with it loose sand from the surface of the river bed. The situation became quite ticklish, and Ramdas laughed with unusual glee at the ineffectual efforts of the party to cover themselves with blankets against the sandstorm. The night passed without a wink of sleep. When the day dawned, the devil of the storm was laid. The morning presented a calm and bewitching sight. The twilight spread its enchanting glow on the tall hills full of vegetation. Stillness and serenity reigned everywhere, and the soft bracing breeze played on the scene which had assumed a menacing and troubled aspect the previous night. At midday, they ate meals procured from the annakshetras of the place, and towards evening they crossed the river and reached Swargashram. On the left bank of the river, Ramdas observed a neat building going by the name of Rama Ashram. The ashram was built in memory of the great and renowned Swami Rama Tirtha. Some other time, Ramdas had an opportunity to enter this ashram. A portion of it was then used as a post office, and the rooms inside were filled with bookcases containing a vast collection of religious literature in Sanskrit, English, and other languages. That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupoda.